Metro. I got this shit here booming. Up the lean, the circle, Floyd. I'ma tell you, some told me to do it. Put that perk in your hand and you blow it. In the room, you know it, get to it. Yeah, I get around, nigga, you know it. Play me rolling, I got bullet. I can't save you, I can't save you, I can't save you, I can't save you, I can't save no hoe. Lol. What is the tea? It's so trippy, like. What's up? How are we? Yeah, hopefully I make it to yoga today because I've already done 2 classes this week, but my goal is 3. Life is so good. I'm so happy to hear that. What's been happening? What's the tea? I'm going to go get a hairbrush. You better make it to yoga. Thank you for your encouragement. I need to leave in 50 minutes. 50. The style of yoga, I guess Ashtanga and Hatha yoga are the types that I usually do. I don't really do yin yoga that often. Vinyasana. Honestly, I don't even know what style I'm doing. I just rock up. I trust my teachers. My teachers are really iconic. These 2 Indian teachers in Shanghai. Best yoga I've ever done. For real. What kind of yoga do you guys enjoy? What is Mysore? I'm on my post-workout walk. Okay, we love that. What did you do for your workout? All I'm thinking about is my chili fried eggs I'm going to eat. Okay, love that. Love that. What workout? Legs. I'm an instructor, mostly vinyasa and TBA. Oh my god, slay. What made you want to be a yoga instructor? I thought about becoming a yoga instructor during the pandemic. But maybe that can be like a later in life activity. I don't know. Should I open this window? I've moved Lindsay from out of this room. She's on my in my living room now. My mum passed and starting connecting with myself more, the teachings to find peace again. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about your mum, but that's amazing that you have a practice that allows you to reconnect with yourself. which activities do you find the most relatable for you? I'm also on YouTube live at the moment, so I'm reading comments from both sides. What does that mean? What do you mean, what activities? And what do you mean relatable? How was Japan? Japan was fun. It was a bit unhinged. Yeah. I don't even know what to say. It was fun, but no buts actually. It was just fun. I guess like it was just a really long week before and after. Like I had a friend that I hadn't seen in like 5 or 6 years visit Shanghai before I left. And I thought we were just going to do like a chill drink / snack, non-alcoholic. Then I bumped into, the night before, this is how my week went. Thursday night, who was I even with? Thursday night I was DJing. Wait, let me check Thursday night I was DJing, and then I bumped into a friend at my gig, and then I wanted to go to this bar that I hadn't been to in ages, so I messaged the bartender to see if he was there. He wasn't. He was at a different bar because he had the night off. So we met him at this other bar. I had a dirty martini, and then these 2 other people came, and then we all went to another bar, and then another bar, and then another bar, and then a 3-story like restaurant bar club. It's really small. On a Thursday. It was like 3 a.m. and there were still people there. I'm literally like, what am I doing here on Thursday? Okay, then Friday comes around. My friend, I go to Photo Fairs, which is this like photography exhibition in Shanghai. Well, I'm violently hungover and I drink like less than once a month, basically. Then my friend she's Swiss Tibetan. Haven't seen her in like 5 or 6 years. We started a female focused DJ workshop together in like 2018. Very iconic. And she came to Shanghai, hadn't seen her in ages, planning to have a chill night, went to the bar that I wanted to go to the day before, bumped into another friend and her friends. We're all eating, drinking together. Then there's like a club opening that night. And I was like, oh, you guys go, I'm not going to come. End up at the club opening until like 3 a.m. or something. Get home, start packing, sleep for 2 hours, go to the airport, 7 a.m., land in Tokyo. My friends come and pick me up. And then it's just a blur from there. So that's Friday. Okay, Saturday I arrive in Tokyo. Sunday, it's 2 of my friends' birthday party. That's why I'm there, to DJ for them. We go to like Peter Luger's for dinner, which is great. Go to the club. They have like 5 bottles of Habush, which is this Japanese distilled liquor that has like snake venom in it or something. I didn't drink that much, but everyone was so wasted. Party finishes at 5. I leave. My friend's like, I'm trying to leave, but whatever. Like the last DJ is still trying to DJ. Monday, hang out with my friend, get lunch. Tuesday, we drive down to the beach. Cute. Wednesday, he drops me at the airport and I get back to Shanghai. Wednesday night, I DJ for my friend's pasta restaurant's Australian wine restaurant pop-up. So it's all Australians, not all Australians, but many Australians. I'm like being fed pasta. I get given 3 plates of pasta, like unlimited wine. So it's been a week.
since that, and I've just been recovering for the last week, basically. I think yoga is so important for women, actually, not just movement, but the philosophy part as well. I agree. I think that like that kind of the yoga that I do, there's no mirrors in the studio and there's no music, and I think that's really important for me because like working with music, in music, I get really analytical about the sounds that I'm surrounded by. Like I finished my yoga pass end of last year, and then I tried to get into Pilates, but I couldn't do it because the music was like Russian roulette, you know. I couldn't handle the music that was playing because I would like think about it too much or I wouldn't enjoy the class. So I quit Pilates and went back to yoga. Which activities do you find the most enjoyable? Like what type of activities do you mean though? I like DJing, I like pole dance, I like yoga, I like hanging out with my friends. But yeah, last week was actually unhinged. I haven't been outside like that in a long time. And since I've been back, I've been focusing on being inside. Let me see, what did I even do last week? Yeah. Then Thursday, I went and did Chinese medicine treatment. It's called moxibustion in English, I think. And that's when they use like this type of herb / grass and they burn it like on top of your body. I was in desperate need of cleansing. I think I should. And then I got my period, so I've been like not out. But yeah, I'm so exhausted. I think I need at least another week of sleeping. I've been trying to go to bed early. I think I've managed like one night being in bed by 11, but still not being able to fall asleep until 1. But, you know, can't complain. What am I doing with my life? What should I do with my life? $1 million question. Where are you from? I'm from Australia, but I am Chinese. I am Chinese. But yeah, any unhinged activities that anyone else has participated in recently? That's called balance, right? Yeah, I think I'm trying this new life strategy where I alternate between extreme modes. So I'm outside. I just have to power through being outside. And then I'm inside and I'm resting, recuperating. And also, instead of trying to like make music and create content in a week, I just have a week where I create content and then a week where I focus on music and then a week where I create. I'm going to try that. Let's see how we go. And then I'm also trying to spend less time on social media. So I can focus on creating content to fucking post. And then also maybe I can do a weekly Thursday morning live. Thursday morning for me, but basically this time every week. Let me know if this works for you guys. Last weekend I was meant to go out until midnight with friends, was up till 4:30, just talking about nothing and ordering takeout fried chicken sandwiches. We love that. Such an important part of life, you know, the spontaneous hangout, spontaneous night out. But yeah, let me know how we feel about lives at this time. I'm gonna try to do it on YouTube mostly, because then I can just automatically upload it for anyone that missed it. But yeah, I think I need to slowly transition or like have both going at the same time. But it's so trippy because YouTube flips the video. How do I unflip it? Is that possible? Engage with your audience. Share screen, share, edit. Yeah, I don't know how to flip the video on YouTube, but I support this time. Yeah. Okay, let all your friends know that we out here Thursday, 9 a.m. GMT 8+. I was in a wedding in Mexico this past weekend and got food poisoning, the worst I've had it. Oh my God, that sucks. I want to go to Mexico so badly. Have you recovered though? Thursday. It's been 4 days. Advice: finding balance between being a good physically demanding techniques, and your own health. So you are a physio, and then you want to know how to find a balance. I'm recovered now, thank God. Okay, good. Drink lots of warm water for your stomach. I don't know, I've never been a physio before. I want to help patients and do heavy techniques, but I'm tired. Well, I guess you need to manage your time and your appointments accordingly, I guess. Make sure that you are eating well and nourished so that you have the energy. Make sure that you're well rested. I mean, yeah, I think the most annoying thing is that it's always the most basic things that we need to adjust in order to feel well balanced. For example, I'm trying to work on my sleep schedule. It's so difficult going to bed early, spending less time on social media, basically. Like, I think, yeah, I don't know. The next month is just going to be me, less scroll time, more sleep time. Because I realized that I don't have the self-control to like not just scroll on my phone until 2 a.m. Even if I don't have my phone in my bedroom, I'll still just lie on the couch until like 2 and talk shit. So yeah, I'm doing 1 day a week online on TikTok and Instagram. I'm still on Red Note and I still go on Twitter. I literally spent like 2 hours on Twitter yesterday. I never go on Twitter, but I was so understimulated that I spent like so much time on Twitter. I screenshot so many memes to post on my friend crush page. But yeah, you need a phone lockbox, right? I don't even know if that would help. Like, I would smash it open. I'm taking a day trip to Shanghai tomorrow. What should I do? Oh, fun. Maybe you can go to Yuyuan Garden if you like scenery. Go to a cute cafe, get a nice brunch, coffee, snack, and go shopping, I guess. What else is there to do here? Shanghai is such like a lifestyle city to me. I don't know like what tourist things people can do here. Apparently the history museum is really cool. I've never been. You're the best. Never stop making content, please. Thank you. I'm working on a new YouTube video. It's going to be out later today, hopefully. Guys, look at my arm. Is this muscle? So I have a video coming out. Oh my God. That is about meditation and my 5-year meditation review, because I have been meditating consistently for 5 years. Yay me. And then I'm going to do a video on journaling, because I've been doing that consistently for 5 years too. And then I'm also going to do a video on how to get into exercise, maybe. I don't know if people are into that, but basically, even though I could talk about topics like dating or politics or whatever, I feel like these practices have created the foundation for me to be able to engage with the world in a more balanced and healthy way, if that makes sense. So if you don't have these practices and you just feel crazy all the time, I encourage you to work on that first before feeling like you need to save other people, you know, or like create some kind of seismic shift in society. How many tattoos do you have? I have 3. 1, 2, 3. Hello, I'm growing increasingly concerned about my guy friends falling for the manosphere. Okay. I can only see the first comment if you have a second one. But I did see this video on TikTok about a mother and how she de-radicalized her son who was getting red pilled. It's not your responsibility to, you know, save men from their own stupidity, but you can maybe consider watching videos about how mothers have de-radicalized their sons and implement some of those techniques on your guy friends, because a grown man who is like mentally weak enough to fall down that kind of rabbit hole needs to be spoken to like a child, kind of, you know. I do understand why men get sucked into red pill content, because I don't think it's easy to be a man. Not that I feel sorry for them, but, you know, being conditioned to be disconnected from your emotions is probably hard, you know, because you do need to be connected to your emotions in order to connect with your experience of the world, which is something I speak about in my upcoming YouTube video about meditation. So I can imagine, you know, being constantly disconnected from your emotions and then also denying yourself the space to feel the way that you feel and communicate that would be really hard. I mean, look at the world around us. It is the product of people not being connected with their own humanity in decision-making positions. It's easier to be hateful and blame others. I think reality is the shadows cast on the wall. Yeah. So how old are your friends that are getting red pilled? And what kind of content are they into? I'm curious. Like, what are the talking points that have captured their attention? It was interesting because, like, this mother who was talking about her son being red pilled, they were just having a conversation, and then her son was like, yeah, all women are gold diggers. And the mom was like, where did you get that from? What do you mean all women are gold diggers? And he was just like, yeah, all women are gold diggers. And she's like trying to approach with curiosity. Like, really? Which women do you know are gold diggers? Name one woman that you know that's a gold digger. Because this boy was being raised around women, and like none of the women that he knew, like his mom, his aunt, are not gold diggers. So like she had to say, you know, where are you getting this information from? Or be like, just like try to provide congruence between the things that he was being told online and the reality that he was living, because these two things were completely disconnected. But like you said, he's casting shadows onto his reality. Mid-30s, which is concerning. I think it's the usual. XYZ is woke, misreading stoicism. Oh, wow. Frustrating stuff. As a human rights lawyer, I have tried gentle parenting, but I am tired. Oh my God. I don't even know, like mid-30s. Like, just say you get no bitches, you know? Why can't they just why can't they just go to the gym or something, or like get a hobby? There's so much to enjoy in life that's not just like doubling down on your own self-hatred. But you know, I'm really trying to think like what I would say. I don't feel like I know enough men personally to be able to like help them if they ever went down this kind of rabbit hole, because I don't have time for that shit. So I admire your patience for sure. Woke. I think also I don't really deal with woke culture that much because I live in Asia, you know? It's not really the same here. And if I do deal with woke culture, it's always in like the creative industry space, which I feel they're like kind of justified in the way that they want to be able to create progress. Although I do think sometimes the modes of communication are not always the most effective, but generally the intentions are well-meaning. I listen to Friend Crush every morning while I get ready to feel more alive before my 9 to 5. Thank you for your content. Thank you for tuning in. New season. I'm working on it. I was going to say coming soon, but I don't know when soon is, you know. Do you have any topic requests for the next season? Please let me know. I have a whole list. But yeah, let me know. What dating advice would you give to a 20-year-old? I would say don't take it so seriously. Have fun. Be safe. Be safe. Okay? I mean that in all senses. Yeah, have fun. You know, I think that one of the reasons why it's very easy for me to focus on myself in my 30s is because I had fun in my 20s. You know, I didn't take it too seriously because I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to get married at this age and be a child bride. I still feel that way now, and I'm in my 30s. I feel like it's so much pressure on me to get a boyfriend. So many people around me are male-centered. You don't need a boyfriend, babe. You just enjoy yourself. Enjoy men when they're on their best behavior and get rid of them when they're not anymore, you know? It's not that deep. I think that, yeah, just have fun, you know? And if I could tell myself anything, I would tell myself to take it even less seriously than I did. I was taking it less seriously than most other people, but I could have taken it even less seriously. You know, I would have used it as more like, it's good to just like be around boys and learn how to communicate with men in like a non-serious way. Men, they're speaking English, but they speak a different language to you. So the time that I had in my 20s being around boys, I just don't really take men that seriously unless I'm working with them now, you know? And yeah, just be safe. Don't prioritize commitment. But just because you're not prioritizing commitment doesn't mean you shouldn't prioritize being respected. Okay. That's very, very important. Just because I didn't want a relationship with a guy doesn't mean that he had the right to treat me as like less than a stranger, you know, because that's the way that they'll try to test you. Okay. They think that once you've given them your attention or you display basic empathy towards them, they think that they've got a grip on you and then it's just a free for all. No, 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 no. If we're going to be intimate emotionally and physically, the respect level needs to be as such. Okay. I'm not here to be fucked around. So make sure that you are being respected. Like I said, enjoy them when they're on their best behavior. They always put their best foot forward when they're trying to get your attention. And if they don't maintain that energy, there's another man around the corner, okay, that can waste your time. Or don't even worry about taking them too seriously, you know. Hey, I was happy to hear you on FTS podcast. Oh my God, thank you for tuning in to my guest episode. Do you want to get married in the future? I don't know. I've been thinking about this recently. I do kind of want a kid. I've been thinking about that, but probably not for the next few years. And I don't think that marriage is an essential part of having a child, but not sure what I'm going to do about the baby daddy, you know? Hi from Canada. Hello from Shanghai. Has your relationship with your parents changed after transitioning into adulthood? Been trying to find the balance between grieving the past, but also loving them in the present. Oh. Yes, my relationship with my mother has changed a lot as I've gotten older. She has also changed a lot as she's gotten older, which has been a joy to witness. I think that as you get older, you realize that your parents are just people as well, you know? And like, especially if you yourself are not a parent, you're like, damn, I could just randomly be a parent. And then also when you start seeing your friends become parents, you're like, what the hell? Also, because my mom had me when she was quite young, like in her mid-20s. So when I got to the age that my mom was when she had me, I was literally like, how the fuck did you do this? So I have a lot more grace. And not that I didn't have grace before, I just literally didn't understand like what it would mean to be a parent, because you just realize that like being a parent is not something that's like bestowed upon you, or like having a child just changes you into this person that's different to a normal person. Like you're still just a person. So now you've got to deal with human life, responsibility for human life. So many guys lie at the beginning stage, all of them embellish. Exactly. So when you clock the lies, leave. Okay. It is possible to have an honest, not that serious relationship with a man, but don't assume that because it's honest at one stage, it will remain honest forever. Enjoy the honesty while it lasts and then leave when it starts getting weird. Okay. It's so hard giving them grace though, because why couldn't you be better? But I think that in that case, it's also understanding like your own history and choices, because once you radically accept yourself and your life as it is, you realize that you did the best that you could with the information that you had at certain times in your life. I used to beat myself up a lot about certain decisions that I made or whatever. And then I was just like, okay, I did the best that I could at the time. And what I learned from that experience, I'm going to try to integrate into who I am now and how I moving forward. And yeah, it sucks that they couldn't do better when you would have wanted that from a parent. But I just think of it as like an opportunity for you to reparent yourself and, think about how you would parent your own child if you ever decided to have one. I think that it's easy to look at other people or to compare your parents or your experience and say like, oh, this other person had it so easy because they didn't have to deal with the traumas that I've dealt with. But in a way, what I have learned is that everything has a price, even if things come easy to you at some stage in your life, you eventually need to develop an awareness and like integrate both sides of that experience. Shit's going to get hard and you're going to get challenged in every single area of your life. And sometimes being aware of certain things gives you like a shortcut to be like, okay, I have a problem that I need to consciously work on, versus when things are a little too easy, you're not conscious of the blind spots that you have, because I observe this in other people, especially like literally one particular friend comes to mind. Hi, Queen. How are we? One friend comes to mind. She's a few years older than me, already in her mid-30s. And she talks about how she feels like her life is just being too easy. And now she's in a toxic lesbian relationship. And it's like painful for all of us to watch her go back and forth with this relationship. And I think it's because she has a lack of awareness of what it takes to set healthy boundaries, what it takes to like achieve certain things, because she just feels like everything's been too easy for her. So I'm not trying to like justify or excuse the way that people have disappointed you or mistreated you or the trauma that you've experienced. But I think that having a slight perspective adjustment can help you with how you process and like move forward. I think it comes with age. I think when I turned 23, I finally started to get it, and I felt so bad for being such a bitch when I was like 16 to 20, right? Starting therapy with my mom next week. Slay. How was Tokyo? Tokyo was fun. It was unhinged. I'm still recovering from my week outside, not just Tokyo itself, but the events leading up to Tokyo and post Tokyo. I mentioned earlier in the live, and hopefully I can like post the recording on YouTube. You can catch up. But yeah, it was fun. A lot of straight energy. In comparison to Shanghai, where it's girls and gays. What does it mean if I'm super ambivalent about a man? Like having mixed feelings. I think that's normal. There's no reason why you should feel certain about a man most of the time. Hi, babe. Do you have money, saving, and budgeting tips? I'll be strapped for cash for the next month or so. Yeah. One thing that I'm not good at giving is financial advice. I don't know if I'll ever be able to confidently give financial advice. I only know how to like make money and spend money. If I'm trying to save money, just, eat out less, start selling things that you don't need, or start clearing your space. I think when my surroundings are clean, I want to maintain order. So I don't want to spend as much money. I don't know if that makes sense. I think because if the space is messy, then my mind is messy. And then I'm like, what can I buy? What can I buy? What can I do? La, la, la. But yeah, so eating out less for sure will save you a lot of money. I don't know. Sorry. Buy less stuff. Spend less money. I'm feeling too bothered by an ex fling flying across the world for a girl he hooked up with. He's just horny. Men just live in a very different physiological state than women, Imagine being so ruled by your hormones. What do you think about parasocial relationships and crushes? I think it's okay to have parasocial relationships and crushes. They shouldn't be like I try to think of everything in like containers, like your energy, regardless of what it is, and you want to have like a healthy balance, right? So in your relationships and the energy that you place in relationships with other people, you want most of that to be IRL, okay? Like people that you actually see and people that you feel like you are in a mutually reciprocal relationship and connection, okay? That's important. But you can have like, 10% or 20% of that is parasocial relationships, people that you look up to online, celebrity crush, whatever. I think that that's okay, but you don't want the parasocial thing to be like 80% or 90% or 100% and you not have any healthy, like real connections. You know what I mean? So they're okay for sure. Just don't let it completely take over where you're directing your energy when it comes to external relationships. Every time I think about doing something in relationships, I think, what would Amber do? Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know if that's the best approach, babe. But I'm very flattered. I'm feeling too bothered. I'm a material girl. Yeah. Everything men accuse women of is pure projection. It really is. I think that yeah, I just always assume I'm going to make more money. You know what I mean? Abundance mindset. I don't use that as an excuse to spend recklessly, but I use that as a justification for enjoying my life because I'm always going to make more money. You're my new fave parasocial person. Love you. Opposite of basic and so intelligent. Thank you. I think also like when I was in Tokyo, I was thinking about buying this bag. I think I was just sleep deprived and wanted to feel like alive. And I've been looking for like a travel/work bag, and love this cowboy look. I was looking for a travel/work bag. I've been looking and I'm still looking. And there's this one at Acne Studios. It's like big, blah, blah, blah. But the price tag, I was like, oh, I don't know. This isn't something that I'm just going to like. I'm not so obsessed with this bag that it's like an immediate purchase, you know. I still need to sleep on it. Hi, babe. And yeah, I was just like shopping around that day. I posted it on my close friends. I was like, is this bag going to be lame in a year? Be honest. And then a lot of people were like, yeah. One friend was like, I see so many girls in Asia carrying this bag. Like, no. And then I started calculating like all the stuff that I could buy for the price of that bag. I was like, I could literally buy a new laptop. I could buy a monitor to use for editing or whatever, because I do everything on my laptop. But honestly, I don't think that having a bigger screen would like make me more productive. It would just make me more distracted, because then I would have like 8 windows open. Like on my laptop, I can only have 2 things open, so I'm limited in the delusion that I have and how I can multitask. But if I had a bigger screen, I would just play like 10 things at once. Yeah, I could buy a new laptop, or I could buy like an Apple monitor, which is like an unnecessary amount of money to spend on a monitor. But like, knowing me, I would do that. Those are 2 things that would actually like generate value in my life. Like having this bag, it's just a bag, you know. I could use any bag. I could use the bag I already have. I could use a random ass tote bag. Like, do I need a bag that's that expensive? I could buy 5 bags. I could buy 5 vintage bags that other people don't have for the price of this one bag that everybody has. So doing girl math like that can save you a lot of money. When a person invites you to their chat as your authentic self and shared post disrupts the energy of the group, what's that mean? As it's unclear to me why they themselves are distant now. Well, when a person invites you to the chat, well, maybe you are mirroring parts of them that they don't want to face, or not every space is a real space, you know, even if people try to tell you that it is. So try not to take it personally. I think it's just an incompatibility. Most of the relationship issues that we face just come down to incompatibility, you know. You don't have to take it personally. You don't have to necessarily change anything about yourself in response to being incompatible with someone. There is always room for self-reflection and self-improvement, but sometimes, yeah, you were just caught in the crosshairs, being in the wrong place that you thought was right. You know, we've all been there. It's okay. Don't feel like you did anything wrong necessarily. Also, something I've been thinking about is, I can't remember what it's called. It's like emotional co-regulation or something. It's when like your ability to self-regulate creates a space for other people to feel that they can do that. But that is a temporary state of being for them. You are consistent in who you are across all relationships, but they are chaotic at all other times except for when they're with you. So it creates the illusion that this person is as emotionally regulated as you are. But in reality, they are chaotic all other times of the day except for when they're with you. And it's because of your ability to self regulate that they think that they have the ability to self regulate, or you think that they have the ability to self regulate. But it's only when they're in that space with you, you know? This is something that I've dealt with a lot throughout my life. Because your authenticity gives them the space to feel that they can be authentic around you. So then they feel connected to you. And that's a real connection, you know, but it's not sustainable because they are not doing the work themselves to actually maintain that state. You know, they rely on proximity to you or extra work from you to bring that out of them, but then they're crazy at all other times. So the weight of their own shadow is what holds them back from being able to be authentic. That takes work, you know, like if you've actually worked on yourself and you have practices to self-regulate and to maintain a sense of authenticity, that doesn't come easy. Okay, it takes discipline and it takes consistent practice. So when you clock that another person is actually inconsistent in all other areas of their life and they're just kind of maintaining an illusion with you, you need to slowly back away or cut ties, because it's only a matter of time until they do to you what they've done to everybody else. And you'll get hints of it as they talk about their previous relationships or the people that they have beef with. You'll start to realize that they are the common denominator in all of the problems that they have, but they'll play as if they're the victim to you in order to get into your good graces or in order to connect with you. But yeah, that's real emotional co-regulation. I think that's what it's called. Incompatibility is exacerbated by male culture, creating a male loneliness epidemic, self-inflicted. Yeah, well, the males, you know. What can I say? But yeah, emotional co-regulation is crazy. Like, it's not your fault that you couldn't compel someone to do the work required to be their authentic self, you know? There are parts of people that only they can unlock, and learning to emotionally regulate independently of being around other people. Yeah, that's everyone's own responsibility. So it's like when you're friends with someone or you're in a relationship with someone, and when you're together, you see this like side of them that's like a mirror of you, and you feel like you're so compatible and blah, 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 blah. They say all the things that trigger like parts of you that you're looking for in others or whatever. And when you're no longer friends or you're no longer dating, their life kind of turns to shit. And they make a bunch of decisions that are completely contradictory to the version of them that you experienced, or to the values that you have that they made it seem like they also have. That's because you were the reason why they were able to seem mentally stable. And without you, they don't have anything to anchor them anymore. The anchor does not exist inside of them. It's always outside of them. So it just be like that sometimes, you know. People will just jump. Some people just jump from relationship to relationship looking for someone to anchor them, you know. But I feel like our life's work is learning to anchor yourself, and then you can connect with people that have also done that work, and together you support and like elevate each other's joy. You're not like two halves becoming a whole. You're two wholes becoming a two. Or it's like, it's not like you're codependent on sharing a reality. You're actively creating a third reality together. You know, that's my like approach to relationships and connections in general. You know, I don't want to be in a codependent friendship or relationship. Do you have advice for ending a friendship within a trio? One of them is not too good of a friend. The other friend keeps making excuses for them and thinks I'm running a tight ship. I think just slowly distancing yourself. Focus on other friendships outside of the trio. For now, just deprioritize the trio because it sounds like the two other people seem to be compatible and you maybe are not so compatible, and that's okay. It's tough to go through friendship breakups for sure. I'm empathetic to that. But yeah, don't feel like you need to convince other people to see things they don't want to see, you know? That's something that I've learned. Even if you think it would be best for them, they might not think that, and that's their right. You know, you don't need to disturb the delicate balance that exists in their mind. That might come back to bite them in the ass, but that's not your problem, you know? Why isn't my live verifying? Yeah, everyone has different standards as well for how they want to be treated and what is required for them to be in a healthy friendship. And sometimes it's just like much lower than yours, you know, and you just have to reconcile with that. But you shouldn't have to lower your standard just because somebody won't raise theirs. You're just incompatible and you need to focus on relationships that meet you at the energy that you are willing to give and that you want to receive. You know what I mean? You're describing my last relationship. I just moved cities, got a new job. That's all helped. Proud of you, queen! Incompatibility. When was your last relationship? When was my last relationship? Oh. I don't want to share. Two holes becoming a heart, yes. My besties are so male-centered that she hasn't been consistent and follow through with plans because of it. Yeah, not cute. Nothing wrong with dating and having a boyfriend or a partner, but if it gets in the way of you showing up in other areas of your life, questions need to be asked, assessments need to be made, in my opinion, because you can't put a relationship on your resume unless you also are dating your boss. So, yeah, I wouldn't recommend putting a man ahead of anything unless you're getting paid or his presence allows you to get paid better than if you were single. You know what I mean? Put you first for everyone always, yes. Not even boyfriend and partners, just male friends. Right. No. Nothing wrong with having male friends, but if you choose being one of the boys over community with women, with the girls and the gays, you will never win. I do it for the girls and gays, that's it, exactly. Yeah. Like, I love the men that I know, but I don't expect them to choose me over being with the boys, and I don't expect them for me to choose them over being with the girls and the gays, you know. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. I think you'll just never win as a woman if you pick allegiance with men over community with women. Bestie keeps going back to her ex. He loves her more than anyone, but they fight because she sabotages. Oh. Why does she sabotage? I mean, maybe he needs to watch my videos, because, like, why is he okay with getting his heart broken over and over again by the same person? Double live is so funny. This queen never stops working hard. Exactly. YouTube and TikTok. I'm always working 2 jobs, guys. Free me from this prison. So true, but apparently not everyone realizes that. Yeah. Feminine spaces are unmatched. They feel like genuine community. Yes. But also, women can be crazy. So keep that in mind. And they can be jealous and vindictive. Sleep with one eye open, ladies. Any advice for someone who is crashing out at 28, wanting to create a whole new identity? Oh my God, I love this question. Okay, I have many podcast episodes about pre-30 crisis, quarter life crisis. Just embrace the desire to crash out. I am over 30 and still crashing out on a regular basis. Mental breakdown, wanting to quit everything and start again. That's just how it is sometimes, you know. It's normal to... I think it's healthy to have moments where you're like, what the fuck am I doing? And then reassess how you spend your time and energy, reallocate. Because, yeah, I like to microdose mental breakdowns rather than going years not being aware, and then the amount of work you have to do. You have to do so much more work accumulated over years when you could just kind of a year or 2 of doing the same thing, and then you're like, oh, maybe I should switch it up a bit, you know? How are you, Queen? Hope things have been well. I'm good, thank you. Hope you're doing great. Can you talk more about breaking out of the matrix, being brainwashed? Guys, we're all victims of propaganda. That's something that we just need to accept. Once you accept that you are just a person and you are subject, or you are vulnerable to brainwashing and conditioning, because that's literally how the world is designed. It's designed to trick you into thinking that you believe the things you believe just out of free will, when everything is conditioning. Then you can start to develop an awareness of like what conditioning works in your favor and what doesn't. You know, it's okay that you've been conditioned. It's okay that you absorb marketing messaging without realizing, propaganda, political messaging without realizing, but developing an awareness of it and a healthy distance to assess what you do and don't engage with, I think, is the way forward. You don't need to completely reject society. You don't need to get on your high horse and be like, I'm better than everyone, or I'm above it, or I'm immune, because you're not. You're probably not, and that's okay. But having practices and regularly just checking in with yourself, do I care about this thing as much as I think I do, or as much as I'm being told that I should? And how can I reallocate my energy into things that I actually care about and that actually benefit me, and aren't just funneling time, energy, money into something that I get nothing out of, you know? And if I am going to do that, I'm just going to do it with a smile on my face, because at least I'm consciously aware of what I'm doing and I'm intentional about it, you know? For example, the amount of money and time that I spend on my physical appearance, I'm well aware of the beauty myth. I was radicalized at a very young age, and I know the ways that images of women are used against women to make them feel insecure. But we live in a society, and I'm shallow, and I'm vain. So I try to be intentional with the time and money that I spend on my physical appearance. There are certain lines that I'm not willing to cross right now because I just think it's too much. And there are certain things that I am willing to do, but I do it knowing that I still have value regardless of like whether I ascribe, whether I satisfy a certain beauty standard or not, but I still want to look good. So I put in the time and the effort and the investment where I feel that it's beneficial to me, where I enjoy it, and then I just ignore the rest, you know? Oh my God, there's so many questions now and I need to go to yoga. We're going to have to save it for next week. Lack of structure and direction, because from pre-K to uni, you're told what to do and when. Yeah, it's no measure of sanity to be well-adjusted in a sick society. Boundaries and humor are so key. Being female in a patriarchal world. Exactly. We're all victims of capitalism, yes. I just saw the exact TikTok with 300K likes and so many comments saying the exact same thing. A relationship can't go on a resume. How did you get such a clear mindset around dating men? Have you guys ever spoken to men? I fear that you're not listening when men speak, or maybe I'm just have this ability to create an unnaturally safe space for men to tell me their deepest, darkest thoughts and feelings. But everything that I know about men, they've told me, you know, I'm not like separated from men entirely or isolated from men. Like I talk to men and I watch what men say and I, you know, occasionally watch content that they create and I read the books that they write. They're telling you all of these things. They don't give a fuck about you, most of them. Okay. They only care about themselves. They're in it for the money. They're in it for the glory, for the fame, for the ego. Don't let them trick you. Okay. Tag me in it. Good to know I'm not alone in crashing out. Guys, it's so normal to question your whole existence, okay? That's what being a person is. If you spend too much time on social media, you think that what you're seeing, which is the end product, is all it took, you know? But just to make a video, there's time and effort, direct and indirect, into making it, especially when you're watching curated content. Like if you've ever worked in production or if you've ever tried to make your own aesthetically pleasing video, that shit is not easy, okay? It takes triple the amount of time than me yapping on my phone, you know? But me yapping on my phone, the like outside work is me reading, assessing, reflecting, so that the shooting time is very slow, is very quick, very short. But if you're creating like fashion, aesthetic, holiday, whatever, that takes time and effort. It's so hard. Vlogging is very difficult. So don't feel like you need to compare you sitting on your couch or sitting on a toilet watching social media to like the end product of someone's whole production process. What style of yoga is slow and relaxing? Yin yoga, I think. What do you think about a soul tie? Do you think it's real? Kind of, but I feel like, you know, some karma is to be, I believe in like completing a karmic tie, you know, like sometimes you get in a relationship and you're like, what the fuck was that? Or you get out of a relationship, you're like, what the fuck was that? But you move on and you're like, whatever, maybe I owed them. I'm in karmic debt to them and I've paid it off and now I'm moving on. That's what I tell myself. I listened so hard I almost turned into a misandrist. That's good. There's no reason why you should be trusting men at face value. Men who understand how messed up most of the peers are get it so well. Yeah. I'm not falling for the Mel Robbins let them theory. A socially aware mature man is very rare find. They should be a protected species. Right. Yep. Love your content. You're the big sis I needed. What my question essentially is how to show up as a better version of myself and not think to myself that I'm being fake. Hot girl habits. You cannot go out into the world raw and then try to train yourself once you've already been triggered. You need to be mentally training so that you are able to recenter yourself when you are triggered, you know? So for me, meditation, journaling, regular physical activity, these are all things that train your mind to observe your emotions and to observe your thoughts and to develop a healthy detachment to them, so that when you are in a triggering situation, it's much easier for you to pull back a little bit and be like, okay, how do I want to respond? How do I want to show up in this space? That's my belief. And that's what my next video on YouTube is going to be about, meditation. I already have the Hot Girl Habits video. But yeah, I feel like a lot of self-help content is like gassing you up in the moment, and you get a dopamine rush from watching the video because they're like, yeah, I'm a bad bitch, blah, 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 blah. But then you haven't changed anything about the way that you live to change the way that you think, you know? So I believe the same way that you train your strength in the gym so that you can be stronger in all other areas of your life, you need to train your mind in your self-care habits so that you can be strong when you're faced with mental challenges and friction in the world. Okay? Anyway, thanks for joining. I have to go to yoga now. We're going to do this time every Thursday until I can't do it anymore. Let me know your thoughts and your feelings. I'm going to schedule another live. Yeah, I'm just going to be online one day a week for the next, I don't know how long. I'm just going to see until my brain heals. But yeah, thanks for joining today. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. I'll speak to you soon.